All right, I'll tell you how an attack actually happens, just to explain it to targets who don't understand yet. Now, slowly over time in a target's life, everything starts going wrong or things start becoming difficult. And they don't notice it first, but their phone algorithm starts playing them ads that lead them in certain directions, let's just say, or to certain conclusions about things. They don't know that they have a narrative implanted in their head. It's always personal. It's always shame-based. It's a personal profile. And then what actually happens during an attack is that intrusive thought will be like, boom, heavy, because out of nowhere, they're actually hitting you with V2K, frequency weapons, if you will. And you turn on your phone, and your phone will be patterned where there's words that stimulate that intrusive thought. They might not be obvious to other people, but they're there, and it doesn't matter if you go on YouTube, doesn't matter if you go on, Netflix, doesn't matter during an attack, it does not matter. And every other person in the room, for some reason, is now controllable like a video game. And your wife or your kid or a stranger who's in the area will all follow the pattern narrative of that intrusive thought, which is fucking weird because it can be about anything and it's spooky, all right? And that is designed to break you. But it's also designed to make you look like a paranoid schizophrenic to anybody who looked into it, because they're like, oh, the TV's talking to you. Now, when you go outside and that intrusive thought's there, and all of a sudden you have more traffic near you, and for some reason there's more bumper stickers or license plates that play into the narrative at that moment, whatever it is, once again, that's a sign of paranoid schizophrenia. But, dude, what people don't realize is direct energy weapons target a geographical location. And during those attacks, they try to keep it invisible to everybody else, but you can see it plain as day. The only way that you can make it through them is just by understanding that other people don't necessarily see it. And there are actual people who are in on it during these operations, and that's terrible. And I can't even believe that it's real, but it is. Now, they can turn it on and off like a switch, and they can change narratives. So, like, you're convinced that someone is against you, but they're not. In fact, although leading up to it, what they do is they prepare in advance by giving those people narratives. Like, if they want people to think you're crazy, they'll make you show signs of schizophrenia if you tell them this just happened. And before that, leading up to it, on their phone, they got ads that said 10 signs you're schizophrenic or mental problem, blah, 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 blah. It's all planned and it's all there. What other people don't know either, though, is during those attacks, they can design people to think about you one way and you to act that way, no matter what it is. And that's where you get your mass shooters and everything like that. Because people honestly are led to believe that people are against them. And then you get hit with a voice, and it's an intrusive thought, always shame-based, always personal. And bam. The New York Times wrote an article about gang stalking and all this, and they called it mass paranoid delusional schizophrenia and tried to write it off. Now, whoever owns the New York Times, hey man, are they in on it? If you're targeted, then you know. But it's scary because you make it through it and you digest it for what it was. And dude, the signs aren't there when they're not running an operation, but they can run an operation for a long period of time to try to break you, and depending on where you live. So if you're in a more congested area, they can run them longer. Apartment buildings, I mean, it's ridiculous. But if you make it through those attacks, they just slowly try to break down the rest of your life and play into a different narrative. And that's where I'm at. It's so obvious, and all of it's right there for anybody to see. and nobody will stop it yet. It's really what's going on. That's what's going on. You know, and the fact that I got worked like a puppet and they showed me their capability of being able to literally control your environment like a goddamn video game is unbelievable. And they can turn it on and off like a switch. And that's what they're going to do to the entire planet. And people have a hard time digesting that, but it's the truth.